Hey everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. It is Thursday evening, and I've noticed something really interesting online in the last, 36 hours maybe. All kinds of articles across all news publications about Prince William's scar on his forehead. He calls it his Harry Potter scar. Now, if you go back in time and you think, and you remember, you can look this up, you can find it online at the time. I think he was 11 or 12, 13. He was away at school, and basically he was golfing, and was whacked in the head with a golf club that fractured his skull. I don't know the depth of the injury, but they do say it was a fractured skull. He did have to undergo surgery. Charles and Diana, whom at the time were living separately, which we didn't know, but anyway, they both went to the hospital. And then at the time, Charles was highly criticized because once William was in a stable position, Charles left and went to the opera that evening that he had planned to do beforehand. Diana spent the evening, she spent the night in the hospital. And then I believe William was discharged the next day. Now, but what's really interesting about this, why is every news article going talking about the scar on his forehead? What's really interesting, and this is time, trigger warning, time to strap your foil hats on now. In my trailer video, I tell you that we're going to look at conspiracy theories, and wow. There is one news publication and one news person that you've all probably heard do a podcast. Hunt it up, do your research. That wrote an article for a prominent British publication this week on this very topic. Everybody within the last 24 hours is talking about William's forehead Harry Potter scar. One guy brings Kate into the mix. And he says, oh, well, you know what? They share a thing. Because she's got a scar, right? This is wild. I mean, I've talked about the palace and the press and, setting the agenda and telling you what they want you to hear and promoting things that and wow. So anyway, yeah, they're saying that she sustained a scar on her hand. I forget doing what, but anyway, well, she was at Marlborough College before her and Andrew went to St. Andrews. Some kind of scar, and he correlated this to like, oh my gosh, just yet another love story written in the stars. They each share a scar story, kind of the most bizarre thing you've ever read. But now here's the interesting stuff And, you know, probably half of you are going to hate me. But, and this stuff is hard to find now. Not only Megan, I mean, you try to find, it's been scrubbed from the internet, I'll tell you, but you can find reference to this. And this royal reporter that's talking about her scar on her hand from her time at Marlborough College is so full of shite, trying to put forth a new narrative so that when you mention Kate and Scar, this is what you're going to think about the Scar. And it's, if you go back to the time that Kate and William, around the engagement and things, stories starting coming out about Kate and her parents and the Middletons and where they live in Bucklebury and all of the things. And I mean, some of it I think you can still find. There was some photographs taken of Kate. And you know how she's got her hair kind of parted on the side? I can't do it, but, you know, anyway, here. And there was some early photographs that about an inch in on her hairline, you saw a thing, right? And it was an obvious gap. It was a thing. Well, there was all kinds of speculation online at the time. Oh, now my hair's a mess. Always a mess. Oh, does she have extensions? Is that what we're seeing? And oh, we shouldn't be so critical of Kate if she's using extensions. At the time, the narrative about the way that looked was, oh, she must be using extensions. And the stories got ridiculous. To the point that her mother had to come out, and she did, and I forget to whom she spoke, but I mean, you could find this online. She talked about Kate as a child. I imagine 8, 9, 10 years old. It was preteen. Kate was a young child. And what you saw here, about an inch long, was indeed a surgery scar in which her mother described it as a very serious operation when Kate was a child. Wow. Wow. So we don't know what that surgery was for. And I'll tell you, on the edges of the internet and some very interesting investigators had some very interesting theories that maybe someday I'll touch upon. I'm just giving you the iceberg, tip of the iceberg. I'm just telling you that what I've heard, it is very interesting to see these kind of stories coming out now, trying to put forth a narrative. Oh, if you hear anything about Catherine and a scar, it's got to be the scar on her hand. That was Marlborough College. No. Are we being signaled about something about that scar on her head? And if you look at pictures of her now, look at pictures of her when she first came on the scene. you can see that little weird little division there. You look at her now, her hair is always styled in a way that you're never going to see that 1-inch scar. Why now, after Kate's been under the radar for over 6 months now, we haven't seen her since Christmas Day. Why now are they bringing out a story about scar on her? It's got to be the scar on her hand. When we know her mother said, scar up here. Very serious operation when she was a child. That's all we know. Google what kind of operations may leave a scar in that general area. And you might come across what some people were supposing at the time. And if you're willing to entertain the possibility of things you wouldn't normally think about, could that have something to do with what's going on presently? Just saying. I just found that news story. Everybody's picked it up. About, you know, everybody's talking about William's scar. One publication talked about, brought Kate into it, and Kate's scar on her hand from Marlborough College. And you know, that's the only scar on Kate that anybody would ever reference, when we know different. And even her own mother said that it was a very serious childhood operation. So, that's all we have to go on. You know, conspiracy. Well, what are you, if they keep putting this kind of stuff out, what are you supposed to do? This is crazy. We're talking about scars now, and offering an alternate narrative to what we know is truth. I don't know. Something about it's all fishy to me, folks. Have a great day. I want to hear what you have to say. Leave me a comment. Talk to you later. Bye for now.